Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamu alaikum students. In the last class, we discussed about some periods and stages of human growth and development. We studied about infancy, which is from birth to approximately 2 years of age, and that is a time of extreme dependence, and that is a time of language development, symbolic thoughts are developing, and sensory motor coordination is improving, and there is social learning as well. There are traumatic growth and changes in the body, and that is a time of brain development, and infants have their own temperaments and approaches to play, and they learn to trust other people as needs are met. So this is a time of physical and emotional development. There is cognitive development as well, where nervous system is improving and bones are increasing in size and number, and stamina is improving as the lungs grow and the heart gets stronger, and that is a time of motor skills improvement, and there is also rapid improvement in sensory and perceptual skills. Then we talked about early childhood, which is from 3 to 6 years. This is a time where child becomes more self-sufficient and there is a development of school readiness skills. Children are spending time with peers and child is busy learning language as well. They are increasing vocabulary, they are learning new sentences and gaining a sense of greater independence. They can work now independently as well and beginning to learn the working of the physical world, and motor skills continue to develop. Then we studied about middle and late childhood, which is from 6 to 12 years of age, and children master the basic skills of reading, writing and mathematics, and their focus is on achievement. They get self-control and they are learning new academic skills and they interact more with the wider social world. Children also begin to learn about social relationships beyond the family, and there is physical development in this stage, but that is a bit stable. Language development continues with vocabulary growth, improvement in grammar, and understanding of the social uses of language, and friendships become more stable. Then we talked about adolescence, which is the age between 13 to 19 years. And it involves the transition from childhood to adulthood. There are rapid physical changes in the body, and children are getting independence and they seek for their own identity, which is very important for them in this stage, and their thoughts become more abstract and logical, and it is also a time of cognitive changes. At this stage, peers become more important and new roles and responsibilities are explored, which may involve driving and taking on a part-time job or planning for future academics. So these all activities are included in this stage. The brain also continues to develop and memory function is also improving. Today we will discuss about adulthood, which is approximately from 20 to 60 years of age. We can divide adulthood into further two types, early adulthood and middle adulthood. Late teens, 20s and 30s are often thought of as early adulthood. So you can see in the picture. Then the late 30s through the mid-60s are referred as a middle adulthood. So this is a time of late 30s like 38, 39 and till mid-60s. This is a time of middle adulthood. Like other stages, there are some characteristics of this stage as well. First of all, work and relationships become main themes of life. So in this period, what is happening? A person is working, a person is doing job, he is deciding about his career. And of course, on the other hand, he is making new relationships. And important career decisions are made in this stage. So, in this stage, what people are usually doing? They are thinking about their career, they are thinking about their subjects, they are thinking about their universities, they are thinking about their further education, they are thinking about their job. So this is a time when you are making decisions about all these things. Then it is a time when we are at our physiological peak. So at this stage, we have gained our height, we have gained our weight, and brain is also, developed. And adulthood is a time of focusing on the future and putting a lot of energy into making choices that will help one earn the status of a full adult in the eyes of others. So this is a time that a person is struggling to focus on the important things, and he is thinking about the future, he is thinking about the career, and he is working hard into making choices that will help one to earn the good status in the society. So this is a time of a great struggle. Many people are at their peak of productivity. So this is a time that people are at peak of their productivity. They are creative, they are working hard, they are taking experiences, and in terms of productivity, they are much better compared to other stages. It can also be a time of becoming more realistic about possibilities in life. So this is a time you become more realistic about things. You get clear pictures of all the things which you are experiencing. You can predict the future. You become more realistic about the possibilities. You are more realistic about making choices. And this is very important thing in the stage, that you can think realistically, you can think critically, you can evaluate the things. So, in this case, this is a time that you become more realistic about all the realities, about all the decisions, about all the possibilities. Referred to as the sandwich generation, middle-aged adults may be in the middle of taking care of their children and also taking care of their aging parents. So this is a sandwich generation. Why we are saying sandwich generation? Because they are in the middle. On one hand, they are taking care of their kids because they are younger. And on the other hand, they are taking care of their parents as well because they are getting old. So they are in the middle and they are taking care of both generations. So this is called sandwich generation. Then adults are at their peak both physically and cognitively between ages 20 and 40. So you can observe this thing that physically they are at their peak, and on the other hand, cognitively they have developed. The brain reaches a stable size and weight in early adulthood. So brain is not increasing in size anymore. That is in a stable position now. The parts of the brain involved in decision making and self-control matures between the late teens and early 20s. So this is a time that your brain involved in decision making and self-control. So this is a time you are more self-controlled person. You get self-control and you are good at making decisions. Before that, maybe you are, shaky in making decisions, or it is difficult for you to make a decision. But at this stage, usually people get good decision making skills because they can analyze the situation well. They can see different possibilities, and on the basis of all this information, they can make good decisions. Verbal abilities continue to grow in middle age. So, like other stages, in this stage, still person is getting verbal abilities. He is learning language. He is learning proper use of language. So, again, as we discussed in the past, that development is a continuous process. Then, creative productivity appears to remain high during middle adulthood. So this is the time that people are creative. This is the time people are working hard. This is the time people are producing a lot. So this time is very important. Then there is old age, which is approximately from mid-60s and above. So this is very common in our society that we have elders and you can observe old people around you. So what is happening with them? There are some main characteristics of this stage. For example, slowing reaction time for almost all tasks. So what they are doing, they are reacting to different things, but their reactions are very slow now. In each task, they are trying to do things, they are participating, but their reaction time is getting slow day by day. Then, loss of hearing. You can observe this easily. It is difficult for elderly people to hear properly. So sometimes they are using some aids or some stuff to hear properly. Then further, there are changes in the sleeping and eating patterns. Of course, because they have lots of changes in the body. And due to those changes, there are changes in the sleeping patterns, there are changes in the eating patterns. So you cannot compare a young person and an old person in terms of sleeping and eating patterns. There will be a difference. Then further, their motor abilities are declining. Of course, their motor abilities are declining because they cannot perform things like young people. Difficulties in various mental processes. So they are feeling difficulties in all mental processes. These mental processes may involve their creativity, their critical thinking, their evaluation, their all such activities which are related to mental processes, they become slower. And people at this stage, they feel great difficulty in practicing or doing all these things. Further, a good point is that relationships become stronger. By this stage, people have spent a lot of time with each other and their family, and they have kids and maybe they have grandchildren as well. So relationships become more stronger because they are living with each other from a long time and they develop, understanding, they develop, self-respect for each other. So this is a time your relationships become stronger. So these were all main stages of human growth and development. I hope you understand about this. And each stage has different characteristics. And if we are planning instruction, if we are planning assessment, or if we are planning curriculum, we need to think about all these stages and the requirements of these stages. And according to that, we can plan all educational experiences. So this is very important. As a teacher, you should know about all these stages, all these functions, all these developmental goals, so you can deal with your students according to their abilities.